Hello, my LGBT cuties, and welcome back to another episode of A Jaded Gay. I'm Rob Lovelace, and today we're talking about the history of Fire Island, one of the most culturally significant LGBTQ plus destinations in the United States. Fire Island is a 32-mile-long barrier island off the south shore of Long Island, New York. While it has a small year-round population, it swells every summer with visitors drawn to its beaches, boardwalks, and tight-knit communities. But Fire Island didn't start out as a gay destination. In the early 20th century, it was a rustic summer retreat for artists, writers, and theater people from New York City. By the 1930s and 40s, places like Cherry Grove attracted creatives who were already living outside social norms, and that openness quietly made space for gay men and lesbians at a time when being out was dangerous. Accessible only by ferry, Fire Island felt far from prying eyes and police scrutiny. By the 1950s, Cherry Grove, and later Fire Island Pines, had become known as places where LGBTQ plus people could live, socialize, and express themselves more freely. Together, they're often called America's first gay and lesbian town. Between the Grove and the Pines lies a wooded stretch known as the Meat Rack. Beginning in the 1950s and growing through the 1960s, these forest paths became a meeting place for gay men seeking anonymous, consensual sexual encounters at a time when being openly gay could cost you your job, your family, or your freedom. It was discreet, unspoken, and importantly, one of the rare spaces where race, class, and status mattered far less than they did in the outside world. But that visibility also brought danger. By the mid to late 1960s, police began targeting Cherry Grove and the Meat Rack, conducting raids meant to catch men during or immediately after these encounters. Arrests often resulted in public exposure, job loss, and social ruin, punishment far more devastating than the charges themselves. In August of 1968, police arrested 27 gay men in Cherry Grove. While a few pled guilty and paid fines, 22 men chose to fight the charges with support from the Mattagine Society. Their lawyer, Benedict Futuro, demanded jury trials and argued that the police were wasting resources by harassing men engaged in private, consensual behavior while violent crimes went unaddressed on the mainland. And the juries agreed. All 22 men were found not guilty, and the raids on Fire Island effectively stopped. And this happened 1 year before Stonewall. It proved that organized resistance worked, even for closeted gay men, and marked a turning point in LGBTQ plus legal history. In the 1970s, Fire Island became a symbol of queer liberation and joy, but that joy was later shattered in the 1980s by the AIDS crisis. Once again, Fire Island responded. The gay men's health crisis began hosting legendary mourning parties on the island, fundraisers that grew from a few hundred people to over 1,000, raising tens of thousands of dollars for care, research, and support. Fire Island became a place not just of escape, but of activism, grief, and collective survival. And today, Fire Island remains both a living community and a historic landmark, recognized for its role in LGBTQ plus resistance, culture, and chosen family. And it endures because it tells a bigger story of carving out freedom where none was given, of standing together when targeted, and of turning joy into resistance. So if you want to learn more about Fire Island's history, culture, and legacy, check out the podcast episode and blog post linked below. And remember, every day is all we have, so you gotta make your own happiness.